Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Cult for episode 165 of On the Backs of Gods. I'm your DM, Jillian, and we have our players here today. Same as always, we have Kyle, Matt, Katie, Josh, and Greg. I'm going to go ahead and jump into a little bit of a recap, and then I think we can get the ball rolling with another recap. You'll get it when we get there. It's fine, don't worry. You'll get it. So last time, all of you were on night 3 of the biggest bash of the year. We started at the end of a combat after Nana challenged the Kiln, also known as Sindri. Originally, the party was calling this individual by multiple other names, and now officially has all the titles on the table. Not being very prudent, Nana challenges him to a combat to the death, and he accepts. To which then his second Russ, husband of Nyx, steps forward and says, I accept your challenge, but we are able to bring it down to trophy. The combat takes place after Russ maybe has a heart attack, maybe has a bad time, unclear. Well, it's apparent he has a bad time. The fight is as quick as a duel can be, really. Like, duels usually last a minute or so tops. You're not going to get duels that are lasting 5 minutes. But Nana is felled, and Russ is unable in that moment to take trophy, and he begins to leave the scene. Fen had made his way during this over to Sindri, the Kiln, and intentions were made. And Corrine just had to sort of guess the intentions that were being made, and made Fen, without question, come and stand by her side and, maybe not commit a crime. We have no proof. But they go stand together. During this time, Dagwood was trying to cheat during this combat by hasting Nana and trying to kill Russ with power word kill. And once the combat ends and Russ is on his way towards the exit, the Kiln makes a speech saying that basically for Nana, he will confess to what he did right now, and says that he was on the mountain and that he killed Ave, and lists one of his reasonings, why he killed him. And then goes into talking about the lanterns, that he made these, that they absorb corruption and make the area that they are placed in safe. And this is sort of like a soft release for maybe this being all over the continent, something that more people could have, more cities could have. And this is something you could possibly believe is true, as people who spoke to the matron. The matron said that this area feels strange, and that if somebody were felled, they could lay on the grass for weeks. So it could back up his statement on this, depending on what you think of it. But he explains this. There's a cheers had, and he goes on his way. Nana is big sad. Russ is sick because after Nyx's tendings, she does believe he had or is, actively having a heart attack to some extent. And Nyx and Russ sit by the exit for the rest of the time, as Russ is like, I can't leave. Not while Sindri's here. What if that happens again? And is concerned that, like, he doesn't want to mess up Nyx's friendships with the group, and is like, basically states, I won't give you an ultimatum. That's not anything Russ is planning on doing. But you two hang out for the rest of the party. Then Roshan, with Keld in tow, goes to speak to the Kiln, as they had a meeting planned. The Kiln is very cordial, happy to make conversation, and without any back and forth, hands Russ over for the fight with Bosch, and confirms his vacation time, and then continues to offer that he is going to give you something to help with a possible hag interaction, and then gives his congratulations to be passed to Nyx for the nuptials. And Roshan says, thank you for your time, and exits the scene, and Keld says, now hold on. Now hold on. couple questions. Keld talks to him about his interactions with Bosch and about the lanterns. The Kiln says that he was interacting with the guard, that he was impressed with somebody who had this type of control over corruption, but believes that Bosch's abilities are divine in nature. And that's not exactly what he's working with. And eventually it seems they parted ways. And you also learn that the Kiln poisoned him. And he's like, soon this guy won't be a problem. I can't promise he won't be a problem before, he dies, but eventually he will not be a problem. And you inform him of the intent of a baldachin, which he seems to take note of. Then he's like, if you're able to deal with this, I would appreciate that, and you have Rust to do that for one combat. You have Rust for one combat. And you ask about the lanterns. He explains that they absorb corruption. This is what his focus is. This is what his intents are. And you leave the conversation with that information, Keld. Take as you will. There's a lot of being sad around the party. Eventually, Fen separates from the group for a bit and then returns and goes, and everybody dances. Just everybody's dancing. Keld's a little intoxicated. Keld also tries to see if he can find any remnants of ghosts. He can't. Egil and Roshan have their final dance together after he has a conversation with Dagwood, where Dagwood implies that Russ is the one who kidnapped her when she was abducted from her home. And after his dance with Egil, and Egil them being like, eventually we can all hang out together, and it could just be you and me, and we can have a nice time. Eventually. That is the intent. And confirmed vampire boyfriends come over to talk to Roshan and inform him that he is missing time. From a wild magic surge that happened in the forest, Roshan lost 2 years of his life, and this individual is able to sense that and informed him that all he has to do is find a cleric or somebody with the ability to deal with this, and it shouldn't be a problem anymore. And the party begins to wind down. The icicles fall from the ceiling. Of course, they miss all their tidings, and he lives to see another day against his wishes. Everyone claps. Yay! Encore! The party begins to make their way out. Conversations are had, mostly out of earshot. I'd say pretty big chunk out of earshot. And Nyx is like, we should go talk to your boss real quick, Russ, before we go. And just get all that settled. And you also go, Nyx, and have a lovely conversation with the Kiln, who seems to be a pleasant enough guy who once again confirms he will help you, and congratulations on your nuptials. And you have all of that in the bag. As you were leaving, Nyx, you see that Bela, the other matron from the Underdark, is approaching the Lady Lord, and you're like, now hold on. Before we leave, let me watch this happen. And it seems to be a bit of a pointed verbal altercation as Queen Bela informs the Lady Lord that she is interested in peace, that she wants this war to come to an end, put ego aside for the next generation. And the Lady Lord says, my next generation is dead. And so should yours be. And attempts to murder her and her unborn child is the assumption, with the pointed copper-tipped legs on her back. And General Talaran steps in front, claiming that she just wants to feel safe in her own home. And she just wants to be able to rest. And the Lady Lord tells her to do so and drops her. But Nyx is there with a 6-level healing spell. If Nyx had not stayed, who knows the state of General Talaran. But Queen Bela thanks General Talaran for saving her child. And everybody begins to exit the party. Now, I would like to backtrack a bit. I'd like to describe a couple things in a bit more detail for my own amusement. Just for me. I'd love to go on a little adventure right now with Fen. So we're going to go back to the end of the fight, where we did not have Fen before. Fen, you are currently standing at Corrine's side. Nana has been felled. Russ is on his way towards the door. There is like that thing that pulls at you. Like, you've always gone over and helped Nana after these fights, and that does pull at you. And you see that somebody gets to her first, which is the men hired to do this, who immediately heal Nana, which is why Corrine is able to pull your focus towards her quickly in this moment, as Nana is no longer now in a state of possibly dying. She is now stabilized. She pulls your focus. I just saved you from the hangman's noose, and I'm going to do it again. And she is like, focus on me, as she points to her face. While you are within the walls of my home, you will not interact in any form with the kiln. No verbal, physical, mental, magical interactions whatsoever. And you have work to do. But you may go help your friend if you wish. And she kind of like releases your gaze in that moment, and you are able to then go over and run to Nana and heal her in this moment using all of your first level spell slots. After this, you help Nana. You acquire a ring of calming to help settle her emotions. When you have a chance, you slip away to go to your second target, General Talarin. And you inform General Talarin of what happened on the mountain and who that man was, what that speech meant. And you explain it, and during this time, you place a second tracking device. And you are approached by Nana. You explain yourself, and both of you go to dance, which is the natural order of things at a party. As you are walking towards the dance floor, you receive your next instruction. Your last target is Alyona, you hear in your mind. And you tuck that away, preparing, looking for an opportunity. The implication of, you got to say goodbye to her at some point. And boy, howdy, what a goodbye it is, as Alyona casts Wish and fills the place with shadow and magic and energy. And during this display, fully destroys her clothes. And Fen's like, first off, nobody should be naked in the middle of this party. There's too many people naked at this party, to be fair. But sees an opportunity and goes over and gives her his cloak. And she looks at you, Fen, and she just looks tired. And I said there wouldn't be any rolls, but roll me insight.
4.
Okay. That'll be a 4. Uh, she looks to you and once again looks now very tired and weak. And she says, thank you. And pulls the cloak around herself, now being all she has besides her jewelry. And very stoically makes her way to the door like she did not just basically explode magic in the center of this party. But your friends at this point are like, well, time to hit the dusty trail. And you follow them to the exit when Corrine catches your attention as you go to the door. You inform Keld that you are stepping back and talking to Corrine as your other friends talk. And you fall into step with Corrine. And as you do, she smiles. And instead of lacing arms with you, she holds your hand. And currently the two of you are now kind of slowly meandering behind the group as she looks forward. And there's a lull in conversation. Do you want to say anything, or do you just want to enjoy that moment?
Does this feel like the last time Fen would have any significant interaction with Corrine for a while?
Something Fen could surmise.
Yeah.
Fen could pick up on that, I think.
I'm greatly appreciative of your invitation to this event. I wish I knew more about what I'd done to help you, or why you needed it done. I'm not sure if it's something that you can share or anything of that nature.
And
I
go ahead.
uh, I think we're like to be leaving for some time, um, soon, sooner rather than later. And I'm not sure when I'll have the opportunity to see you again.
Hmm. And she squeezes your hand. I would be happy to explain. I'll do that first, I think. But before that, I'm I'm sorry for snapping at you. I I was scared. If you had hurt that man, I'm not sure if I could have helped you, if I could have saved you. So I stepped in, and I'm sorry for being so abrasive in that moment.
I think you did what you felt was right. That man murdered a good man. Um, was the brother of my best friend, um, the a man who aided in the brokering of peace in an entire land, who raised another pair of my friends from childhood as if they were his own. Took in a half orcish, essentially orphan boy, and raised him as well. Showed nothing but kindness and generosity to anyone who came into contact with, and that man was struck down in essentially his prime, in cold blood, by the man who calls himself the Kiln. The Kiln deserves nothing better than unceremonious death, dispatchal, removal from this land. I don't care what other allegiances he holds. I don't care in the moment for law or courtesy among these people. I
Well,
wish to see him dead. He deserves it, regardless of what he says.
I understand. You would not have felled him in that moment, and you would be dead. I'm giving you the chance to, at some point later, kill him as you like. I won't stop you. Only here. If you can if you can understand my point of view on that. There's no way you would have been able to kill him.
I understand. Your wisdom and discretion is appreciated. Um, had I had fallen, would have fallen doing something I knew to be right.
Well, if you are to fall doing something right, at least it won't be for their entertainment. And she sort of glances around at the few people mingling at the party. And you asked me why I had you do those things. It's because you saw what just happened. You saw the magnitude of her ability. She is insanely powerful, and she is an unknown variable. And if she wanted to just cause havoc, run amok, disappear, as wizards are prone to do, and still cause harm, no one would be able to find her. This is the way that I can make sure that the continent is safe. That's why I did this.
I think I understand. I'm not. I hope what I did does contribute to the safety of this land and the people who dwell within it. I hope it's enough. I hope it's something that's never needed. I hope that these people, particularly General Tallerin, who seems a perfectly pleasant person, don't require monitoring or reprimand
Mm.
at any point, but I understand someone wanting to do that.
Thank you for understanding. That's all I ask. And she squeezes your hand again, and you can see she's just taking in the space and she's looking around, and then she kind of glances back over at you. This may be shocking, but I've never been good at making friends. I am surrounded by hundreds, and yet a lot of the time I feel incredibly alone. Um, People, especially men, have sought my company because of my looks and my prowess, my talents, my status, and no one cared for what I wanted. It was it was only what I could give them. And I spent a long time, Fen, a very long time working hard and doing things the right way. And I was exhausted. I spent so long, and I finally gave up. Everything was so hard, and I wanted people to be easy. I've done things I'm not proud of, but I would never take them back. And she kind of slows her step and like kind of like pulls you in. I am going to cast a few helpful spells on you. It'll do you no harm, and you can believe me on that. You're all right with this, right?
Trust you implicitly.
Thank you, Fen. Um, she grips your hand and kind of holds your eye contact for a moment. And kind of the world around you, besides her, kind of begins to blur a bit. She is going to fully remove the knowledge of targeting anyone besides Alyona. To your knowledge, Alyona was the only target you had. And this moment was just a moment where you were staring into her eyes and she smiles at you. And you understand, keeping tabs on her. That amount of power won't go unchecked, right? And she gives you kind of a sad little smile. And besides, the tracker will fade eventually. It's not a forever thing. But if she becomes a threat, it's something we'll deal with when the time is right. And if it never needs using, it never needs using. And I mean this as sweetly as I can make it, Fen, truly. If you misguidedly on this topic grow conscience and wish to tell her that you betrayed her trust, then you must do as you must. I worry that it'll hurt your companion's relationships with her more than it will mine. You understand?
I understand.
Good. You can see that her eyes look a bit wet. The gate approaches, and as she gets within a few yards of them, she stops and turns to address them. If you could just give us a moment, he'll be right along. And after a moment, your friends step through the gate, and Jane stands still on the warm side of this party with you. This this part is so difficult. Yeah. You've been so kind to me, Finn. And I hope you feel a similar way, that I have been kind.
You've been a gracious host. You've been a benevolent friend. I I hope as we part that you remain a friend.
Of course. Tried to show you a good time. Hopefully it was something of the sort. I know not everything was cookie cutter. I just I just hope I gave you a taste of something genuine. I hope it can be perceived that way. At least as genuine as I think I can be. Um, I've lost that girl who traveled with a band and played for tips and smiles, and that girl felt so deeply. And she grips your hand tightly. I know you shouldn't. I know you won't stay here with me. Other passions pull us apart. I saw your passion earlier. And I'm not sure I could ever leave this city. And I can't bear to ask you to stay. But and you can see she sort of like pushes the thought away. I hope that you remember me fondly one day. I I would just like this to be as painless for you as possible. And she leads you outside, stepping into the cold air, the snow billowing around you. And the doorman, immediately as she exits, produces a fur that she wraps around her shoulders. And she steps in close to you and talks softly. Our time together is one I will never forget. But you should. If I don't do something, your love, your love for me will rip you apart. It will feel like a dream. Some parts are foggy and strange, and some are crystal clear. You may forget some of the conversations we had, maybe the smell of my perfume, but maybe you won't lose the memory of my lips on your cheek or the sound of my music. I can't really say in the end. Your mind will do as it must. And you can see now the tears that have welled up begin to softly fall. You have so much to give, Fed. I saw that the moment you walked in. Kind eyes and a frightened heart. A kindred spirit. Let me help you one last time. Let me protect you. And she reaches and tilts your hand up and towards her, where she gently pulls the invitation from your wrist and keeps your hand in hers. Everything I'm doing right now is for you. So you can thrive and love and hate me if you must. You are going to let go of my hands. You are going to look at me for the last time. And you are going to keep living, despite me. Goodbye, Fen. And she leans forward, takes your cheeks, and kisses you on the forehead. And your eyes close in the moment. And when they open, she's gone. You stand outside of the party, and the night air feels a bit colder and the weight of the world heavier. Your mind is a bit groggy, but slowly will get clearer over time. You remember Corrine, but some parts feel so distant while others feel visceral. It's like in this moment you are still waking from a nightly trance, kind of in a between place. This moment does not feel like a light switch turning on and off. Corrine was kind to you. She was caring. She spoiled you. Not once during this, whatever you want to call it, did she hurt you or your friends. You believe in this moment that she did something to make this parting not hurt, something to make it less painful, to spare you a more painful goodbye. You remember placing a tag on Alyona, a dangerous and powerful warlord. It is up to you what memories of Corrine you believe will gently fade more into a dreamlike state, and which stay with you, which remain important to you. This moment you feel something is in your hand, and you glance at it, and it's a small piece of glass, in the shape of a tear, a Prince Rupert's drop. And you have this. You can hear your friends behind you, besides Nyx, all seemingly ready to go to the inn. You are groggy, but nothing is keeping you here. That is where we are going to pick up. Is Fen, you are still in this kind of just, you're aware, you're vaguely present, but people are ready to go back to the inn. The people who are outside currently, what are you doing? Are you ready to go? Is anybody staying? Keld, are you staying behind for Nyx? What are people up to?
I think Roshan just begins walking back. Once we hit the outside of the party, just leaves.
Gone.
Well, if there's any way Nana can grab his shoulder before he leaves, I mean, if he's determined, I mean, she's exhausted and not looking great. She's not going to chase him, but...
Yeah, I mean, they walk out together, so she'd have
Okay.
a chance to say something.
Especially, like, during the bit where Corrine is still on the other side of the gate, still speaking with Fen, while they have this relative secure private moment, I think she just says to... I think Keld is close enough by. Yeah? Keld's there? And Roshan too?
Everybody's, yes, everyone's there except Nyx and Fen.
Got it. I think she just says to them quietly, I don't know what she's telling him. It doesn't matter. But, I think I might ask for him, well, whether or not he might be willing to stay in my room with me tonight. I don't particularly think I'd like to be alone anyway, so I might as well be there if, I don't know, she calls him back or something. So I'll give one of you a knock on your door if that happens, so you'll know what happened.
All right.
Sounds good.
I think you could both use the company.
Yeah. I think so.
Maybe he can fill in some blanks for us.
Maybe. We'll see. If she lets him.
And at that moment, I would say that is when they step outside. Roshan, you're free to start walking at that moment if you are so inclined.
That's all Nana wanted to communicate.
I think this would probably more fall to Keld. Keld, are you waiting for Nyx? Because your ring informs you that Nyx is still in the party. So you're like, she's that way.
Helpful. Yeah, I think Keld's gonna want to hang around for a minute. Or minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Nana is not presently looking forward to walking through this cold and is not going to do it by herself, so she will stay here.
Yeah, Nana and Fen are welcome to go. Corrine has, you all watched Corrine not into smoke, but
yeah, no, she just walked away.
She just walked back inside.
Yeah.
And but for Fen, it was a clean cut. Nana and Fen, do you start heading back after Roshan? He'd probably only be a couple minutes ahead of you, anyhow.
I think that whatever clear consciousness that Fen still has that's not clouded by, you know, feelings or other haze is probably focused on Nana and making sure she gets back safely. He's trying to be there with her, for her. It's just hard for him to focus on anything, but he'd stand near her. He'd let her take his arm if she needed, and he'd, do you want to go back? Do you need a drink, sleep, food, anything?
I mean, I definitely need to not be here. Being horizontal would probably also be a bonus, and out of these boots. I'm not sure if I'll ever wear this again. I spent so much money on it.
You wore it well.
Thank you. And you too.
Fen kind of feels at the pearls that are set in this, and I'm not sure it's my style anymore. Let's go back to the hard fiddle. Let's at least not let Roshan get out of sight. I have to imagine there's still unpleasant folks about.
Right, yeah. No sense in anybody going on alone. Keld, are you hanging out? What's up?
Yeah, Nyx is still here, so I want to catch up with her.
Oh, of course. Yeah, okay.
You guys can go on.
Give her my best, okay? And Russ.
Of course.
Thanks. See you back there. Nana gives Keld another hand squeeze similar to before and is gonna go off with Fen.
Okay. You two start making your way after Roshan. Keld, you don't have to wait incredibly long. 5, 10, 15 minutes tops, maybe. But Nyx, if there was nothing else you were inclined to do after picking up General Talaran.
Nah, we convinced her to come with. That's all we needed.
Yeah, and the three of you, Nyx, Russ, and General Talaran, make your way out of the party. You can see, Keld, that Russ looks not good. Like, he seems to still look sickly in this moment. And while we're talking about Russ looking sickly, I want to confirm something after dwelling on it with the team. So when Russ had his moment where he began to fall before the fight, and he had the smoke drifting from his mouth, I do not think everybody would have seen that. Nana, Fen, and Roshan were on the opposite side of the field. Two of you were talking. I think you may have seen him like stumble forward, but from your distance, I don't think you would have seen the smoke. I think the three of you wouldn't. I am torn on if Nyx would, as she had fallen to the ground and was kind of in on herself, so I'm not sure if she would have seen it either. She's kind of my more iffy one. So I'd like to defer to you, Nyx. Do you think you saw all of that moment?
No, she was going back and forth looking between the two of Nana and him. She would have missed it.
Keld, you saw everything.
Congrats.
Keld, there's no reason you wouldn't have seen that whole encounter. You were closest to Nyx, which is closer to Russ's side of the field. You had a clear view of everything that happened. So that is now your second sighting of that smoke. This time, you did not have any magic in use to see it. So it was there, visible of its own accord, I suppose. So I just wanted to confirm that after dwelling on it, I don't think everybody would have seen. Especially with, I gotta put on my armor and now we gotta talk and that kind of thing.
I understand Nana would not have seen this. This is more for Mac. So Keld would have seen that smoke and it would have looked similar to the smoke that rose from Nana?
No, from Russ.
Oh, it was from Russ previous.
There's
I'm
another
sorry.
instance.
Smooth brain Mac. Sorry about that.
I don't know what smoke Nana moment you're referring to, but we can save that for the after
Never
party,
mind.
I suppose.
Never mind. Sorry about that.
Thematic.
We'll dig into that later.
It's thematic. It's keeping with the theme of plus 12 perception Fen being completely oblivious to everything.
Yeah.
And
had his full back turned towards Russ and was like, what?
minus 6 perception Keld or whatever he's at, being burdened with knowledge of absolutely everything that's going on in this party and what everyone's single problem is.
I just see so much.
Somebody has to see literally everything going on. And it's sadly Keld. So I just wanted to put that on the table. Because I thought about it and I'm like,
that's helpful because I for some reason thought that Keld saw nothing. So good to know.
Keld, you're the only one who saw something really. So you can take that with you. Anywho, as I was, the rest of the team makes their way out of the party, picks up their items from the door. Your coach is brought around. Is there anything you do or say before getting in, or is it like, you ready to go?
Let's go.
Good. I'd like to leave. Thank you. All of you begin.
Hands help a heart attack at all.
You don't exactly know what happened to that extent. You know something happened, but you're like, I don't know what it was, but I saw all of it. So if you want to lay on hands, you can.
Whatever it was bad.
Yeah, so do you want to lay on hands for a certain number of point?
Yeah.
Heart attack count as a disease?
I don't think so.
Disease, though?
Oh, no.
Oh. Wait a minute.
If it did, it would have already been fixed with the heal.
Yeah. It's probably more of like greater restorations bag, to be fair.
I already used that on him this morning.
Yeah, he already had a greater restoration.
Someone break up the diamond.
Yeah, a couple people in this party need greater restorations, to be fair. But how much do you put in, Keld?
I'll do 10.
You kind of put a hand on Russ.
Little...
Yeah. A little side hug? Is that what?
You help him get in the cart,
Yeah.
He kind of smiles at you. Dude seems exhausted. And allows help to happen. He's like, I'm not. This armor's so heavy. So it's not. You help Russ get into the cart, and General Tallerin begins to step towards it and then stops. Nix, you have been so nice. I don't think I can go with you.
I understand.
I have to face my problems. I don't want to, but I have to.
We can do that. I'll try to do the same. Maybe.
You're going to be great. You've got it. You're so personable.
We have got this.
We've definitely got this. I'm not worried. Not too much.
Right. Actively trying to ignore this arm that she hasn't looked at.
Oh, look at it in hell. General Tallerin kind of steps forward a bit. I mean, if you want to do one of your hugs, and both of you hug, and she kind of like pats your shoulder a little hard. Hey, listen, it's against the rules to do the hearts. Illegal. General Talern's gonna roll initiative.
Wow.
No. Here she comes. Big change. She kind of gives you kind of like a lopsided smile. It's like, we're going to figure it out. And we'll see each other probably at some point. I say that very optimistically because we probably won't.
I mean, if you could find a way to reach out and let me know when the war's done and I can visit. Or if you find a way I can help.
Okay. I can do that. That's no problem.
I think Eagle knows how to message people or something. Make him do it.
Oh, you're so fancy. Did you see he just sort of left me on the floor? Listen, I know you were picking me up off the floor, but he had to go, blah, blah, blah. I'm not offended or anything.
Maybe he was worried she would kill him next.
It's pretty valid. She likes me a lot more than she likes him, and, you know. We'll play your dice games next time.
Okay. It's probably for the best.
Okay.
Right. Good luck. She's gonna get in this cart.
And General Talern sort of nods and like kind of looks up at the stars, unimpeded by the magical bubble of the party. At least it does one thing going for it, I suppose. And she's going to turn and she goes back inside. So here's what we're gonna do. Nyx, would you want in your dream world to arrive before the rest of the party or after the rest of the party?
Ugh. Gosh.
Because everything is so close in my mind. So this is going to figure out our timing.
If it's before enough to get him upstairs away from them, then yeah. Get Russ.
Okay. You want to arrive first.
Yeah.
High or low?
Go high.
Okay. Roll me a d20.
That's a 5.
That seems pretty low to be fair.
That's, on some days.
Depending on the dice. If it was a d6, that's pretty high. I digress. The party will be arriving just moments before you, Nyx. You
Cool.
and your team in the cart, which deals with cart traffic, I suppose. As other people are leaving the party, it's snowing. And you were busy, maybe helping prevent a war from getting a lot worse. So, time well spent. But the rest of the team arrives at the inn first. Is there anything you are doing as you arrive? What's the intent?
Got here. I want to sit down, and I want a drink.
Finn is gonna sit Nana comfortably as possible into like are there booths? Is there like a booth would be more comfortable than a chair or a stool? Like,
The Nat 20 says there's one booth. They just installed it.
Cool.
Damn! All right, it's that new fancy booth. It's got that new booth smell.
It's really new booth.
Finn sets up a little nest for Nana and goes and runs off and fetches her a drink before coming to sit down beside her whenever possible.
Cool. Roshan, what is your intent as you arrive?
I think Roshan is unsure what he wants to do and decides maybe he'll go on a flyabout by himself, and I think we'll head up to his room and then let himself out a window.
How are you doing this flyabout?
So I think he's afraid because he does not have his mental capabilities, nor does he have a bigger bird to follow. So I think he gets outside and then flies on top of the inn, and then like starts collecting sticks because that sounds interesting to little bird Roshan, and then eventually lets himself back inside.
One moment.
Does
This is
Bird
so
Roshan get
troubling.
to see the ghost carriage again?
Roll initiative, Bird
Spooky!
Roshan.
Oh no! The ghost carriage snipes you out of the sky, Roshan.
And that's how he died.
Oh god!
Roshan, you head off. Are you planning on doing this for the full hour?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. You fly away. You do see Nix and Russ's cart that kind of begins to roll up just as you like climb out a window and fly away. But Nana, I will say during this walk back, sort of like a flickering, slowly dying light bulb. The pre-used ring of calm emotions is sort of running its course. It does
I
not like
see.
abruptly stop, but it does sort of
Okay.
like begin to like it putters out. It begins to slowly putter out.
Oh man.
And probably stops being helpful by
Yeah.
the time you are kind of seated at the inn.
That
And now
makes
it's just
sense.
a pretty okay looking ring.
It's a pretty okay looking ring, and all the emotions that it was assisting her with just kind of tolerating are now here!
The cart comes to a stop outside. You all pile out. And you see, like, it step towards the door, and then Russ just, like, fully stops. And does not proceed any closer to the door.
Are we staying outside?
Why do you stop?
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure if I could take it, you know? If they're there.
So what if they don't talk to you when we go through and we just get you upstairs?
Are you sure that I just can't sort of like somebody brings me a blanket and I sort of like curl up like on the roof or something?
Definitely
we're not
not.
doing that.
That feels like it could be like a valid option, is to sleep kind of comfy, like an alley cat on the roof.
Would you like? I could turn you into an alley cat, and Keld could bring you inside into the room, and they wouldn't know it was you.
They'd have no idea.
Do we think that's the best option? Because what if something happens and then I'm a cat?
We could just make you not a cat. It's not a permanent thing. It's only an hour. If I want it to be that long, I can get rid of it immediately.
If you don't want to talk to them right now, then I think that's probably the best option.
Or one of us can go in there and tell them not to talk to you.
See, that makes me sound like I'm an asshole. It feels better to be a cat. But if
I'm
anything
fine
happens, I would like to be a person again.
Okay.
What kind of cat is Russ? Tell me about it.
Big
What
poofy
kind-
Maine Coon? Or
Orange?
An orange Maine Coon, I think, is where we're at, right?
Such a large cat.
poofy fluffy? Oh,
The biggest
so
cat you can
fluffy!
imagine.
But it's perfect.
So I imagined
Perfect.
Roshan flitting around, recognizing the voices of Nix
Mhm.
and Keld, and so like maybe comes down and like lands on the carriage, and hey, now there's a cat.
Oh,
Yeah, you watch eyes
oh no.
lit in the dark turn in your direction. I'm gonna do a wisdom saving throw for this man whose brain is a cat's brain.
Oh my god, guys! No, not again!
You see Russ the cat being like, Now hold on. You see this cat goes into like a hunting position, like gets low and just sort of like ass up a little bit and is just like looking like
And I scoop.
Yeah.
and you are much stronger than a cat.
Scoop,
You
hold the scruff.
Yeah.
Yep,
such a
hold the
large
scruff.
cat by the scruff.
It's like a normal sized cat in Keld's hand, though.
This is true.
Yeah,
He's
for
a big
Keld,
boy.
it looks like a normal
True.
cat.
True.
But you two have Russ the cat. What would you like to do?
Let's
Thank
You have
just
equipped Russ
try
the
to
cat.
get y'all upstairs real quick.
Okay. We'll do that.
Okay.
Not sus at
You
all.
two, yeah, you
Sus
two
at all.
plus the cat are gonna make your win. By this time, Fen, you would be back at the booth with the drink for Nana. You can see and hear Keld and Nyx walk in with a large Maine Coon in Keld's arms as they, I'm assuming, begin to just make their way to the stairs.
We have to get
Guys,
him in
what
the
if the
room.
inn doesn't allow cats? Hurry up.
The barkeep like perks up real aggressive.
Put your cloak over him. It's fine.
All right,
Yeah.
so Finn, historically oblivious to everything,
Mm-hmm.
also not a fucking idiot. Like,
True.
Fen would like to approach Nyx and Keld.
Okay, I'm gonna step in the middle of that then.
Can we expect to see you in the morning?
Of course.
Stairs for now.
I think we've all had an evening, and you could. I mean,
Oh yes.
you could see exhaustion and sadness on Fen. So, like, this is not a confrontation.
Yeah.
That we've all got a lot to go through. I'm glad you're back here.
Definitely.
I'm glad you're back here safely. And Fen's gonna give scritches to the cat, and go sit back down by Nana.
How
his
bad
name.
does Nana look, health-wise?
Nana is presently sitting at a total of 45 hit points out of a maximum of 108.
So bad?
So,
Less than
Um,
bloodied.
so the thing is with this, Nana was hit by, not to exaggerate, 1 billion healing spells rapid fire. There would be no sign of that combat like on her physical person. She also got prestidigitated by Maggie
Yes. Yeah.
later on at the party. She probably just looks upset and exhausted. Those would be the things you could pick up on because there's no injury to be seen.
Just emotional damage.
Yeah.
Okay, then I think Nyx would just kind of whisper a small healing word at first level, because she doesn't actually know if Nana's damaged, but would do that as a hope you feel better.
Mm-hmm. And how many points?
She gets, this one's really hard to read.
Hmm.
12 back.
Cool. Very kind, very kind. Nana
There you
just
go.
feels a little better out of nowhere. What does that feel like? What does Nyx's healing word feel like?
Probably kind of like you're being surrounded by a combination of dead and alive moss. So soft, but also a little crunchy.
Kind of like feeling this and like,
I mean, if you've been
Feel
healed by
better?
Nyx before, you would
That
be able
makes
to
sense.
identify it.
Have.
okay, in which case then Nana knows Nyx has come back. And
You saw Nyx. You saw Nyx walk in.
Okay,
That's
I
not a
saw-
secret to you.
And we're going upstairs with a cat.
yeah, that's weird. Fine. If Nyx passes by close, I think Nana would just real quick say, wouldn't have done it if I'd known. I promise. And I'm sorry. So if you can tell Russ that, I'd really appreciate it. That's all. You should rest.
This cat sort of squirming in Keld's grip. Not like trying to get away, but just kind of like almost a discomfort coming from this cat.
Oh no.
Just quickly pat her shoulder. I will let him know. We
Okay.
gotta get going.
Yup. All right. Yeah, Nana is just feeling her feelings. It is just gonna let Nyx go and cry into her drink a little.
Okay.
I'm gonna put an arm around her.
Yeah,
I
you
think she
two
needs
sit
that.
on the same side of the booth. Very cool energy. And I personally can't do it. For some reason, I'm like, God, you got to be right there. You got to be across. I got to look at you.
Mm-hmm.
But I do respect when people do that. Big, comfy with each other energy.
Side hug
Anywho.
energy.
Perpetual side hug energy. Very long side hug energy. The rest of you head upstairs. Roshan is a bird. You get upstairs. Russ sort of like easily kind of spirals out of your grip. You realize like, this man could have maybe gotten out of my grip at any moment. And sort of like yumps onto the bed and sort of just kind of walks around for a minute and like kneads at it and then just sort of like flumps down at the foot of the bed.
Do you think he still wants to be a cat? Or was that only if they tried to talk to us?
Maybe we should ask him.
We can both speak with animals.
Yeah, you have to use something.
Yeah, it's fine.
Actually,
Actually,
about to have a rest anyway.
I do not have that spell prepared, so just kidding.
Whoops.
Nana
does.
Check.
I feel
Nana
like
can't
yours.
know.
Nana can't know.
I know Keld has an innate thing that's like you
I
can
also have the spell.
Yeah, I was about to say you have an innate thing where you can like vaguely pick up on vibes, basically. Or at least they can understand you to some extent, but you have the spell, which is very straightforward.
Yeah.
If you could ask him.
Why not? I'll ask him using magic.
Sure. You ask him if he would like to be a person again or be a cat.
Yeah.
One eye opens from his sleeping position at the end of the bed. And it's just kind of a sad little cat noise. A bit dejectedly, he says he should be a person.
Should give him a few scratches first.
Yeah. He seems appreciative.
And then let him be a person.
Okay. And then he's sort of like kind of laying awkwardly on the bed and then has to like kind of push himself up. And starts taking off like his armor. Like starts kind of focusing in on that.
I will help with the one-ish hand.
Yeah, you have like casual mobility. Currently, you have.
Right.
So you could like
powers combined.
You could undo like the belt of
they
like
both
a
work.
pauldron and what
That's
have
all
you.
that matters.
Yeah. It's kind of like more of the jointage at like the wrist and the elbow right now, but they still move. So there you go.
They're great.
But Russ is now just like in his more casual attire and just sort of like kind of like rubs his eyes and just sort of like sits on the bed. Are we supposed to do something now, or do we just sleep? It's hard to think about what you're supposed to do next.
I think sleep should definitely be on the menu. It's hard to have big conversations when you're not all with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Says the drunk paladin.
Keld is a little tipsy.
A little tipsy, that's fair. He ain't smashed.
Yeah, he had some shots and then time passed, so he's okay.
He's good.
And things happened.
And then things
Sobering
happened,
things.
and you gotta stop, drinking as aggressively as you were. But he kind of like looks to you guys like, is there something I'm supposed to do now?
I think so. We'll talk to them about it tomorrow.
Do I have to be there for? I probably have to be there for that conversation.
You might be able to help illuminate some things.
I guess.
You don't think you can?
I mean, it depends. I don't know.
Even if you can't, I think it's important that all of us are on the same page. At least that we all have heard both of these stories.
Yeah, I feel like I'm missing some stuff, so.
Plus, you should get to hear, because you had friends up there.
Friends is a pretty.
You said
Pretty
he was
strong.
the other Russ, so if you're gonna call him that, I would think he's your
Well,
friend.
Russ is like a title. Like I'm not exactly sure what my title
not your
is.
name?
So, well,
So what is your
my name is
then?
Russ. I'm a Russ. It's like I'm sure
What?
my title is like team
So you're a cat.
leader.
You're a cat.
So I just sort of refer to them as Russes.
Hmm.
He hadn't been there
You
that
should
long.
ask. You should ask your boss if there's a name for that.
Listen, I'm very sure they have told me the title that I hold multiple times, but it's not like I make anyone call me it. So I don't hold on to it.
Fair.
And he sort of like flops back on the bed.
Mm.
Is your arm okay, Nix?
Yeah, she'll look at that for the first time. It's kind of stiff again. It broke.
Oh.
You're not noticing too much difference.
Just the tattoo thing's worn off then?
Yeah, just that thing's gone.
I think it's just back to how it was before she put the spell on to make it easier to work with.
I see.
Yeah. And in that moment, she's going to remember she's put a handkerchief in the window.
Okay, you go ahead and put a handkerchief in the window.
Oh boy.
Around this-ish time, Roshan will eventually be circling back around and is now kind of in the time frame of hitting smack dab into the window. We're all lucky that these aren't glass windows for this bird's safety. Roshan is kind of on the way back in and can jump in whenever sees fit at that point. Nana and Fen are currently downstairs in the booth having a drink. Nana no longer under the implications of a calm emotions ring. Fen truly not aware that he was under the influence of anything. There's no reason for him to believe that. But still a sad moment for him nonetheless. It's rough. It's a rough one. And everybody continues to have their rough time. But for now, we're going to take our 10-minute break. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. Why don't you go get a snack and a drink, and we will be back in 10 minutes. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Dice Club for episode 165 of On the Backs of Gods. We just took our 10-minute break. The party's over. It's finally over. Long live the party. But everybody is feeling however they are feeling. I'm sure nobody's in like the good category, but I'm sure it's all over the place for different people for different reasons. Not my place to say what or where. But currently, Roshan is ending their flight in the sky. Nyx has placed a summoning handkerchief in the window. Fen and Nana are vibing in the booth. And about 10 minutes passes from this handkerchief moment. Fen and Nana, once again, there's people all in this bitch. It's not a quiet night. Especially now, last night at the party, everyone's like, we can
I was gonna
party.
say, like,
too."
everybody who would have been, like, doing anything for this party who is staying at the Hard Fiddle is here
Yeah,
partying
it's their
tonight.
last night. Yeah.
It's the after party after party.
Not a lot of people in fancy attire, but these mercenaries who are like, well, I have to leave tomorrow. I'm gonna get shit-faced.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the vibe. But a man walks in, already looks a bit inebriated, and just sort of makes his way up to his room. Nothing strange about it at a glance. There's no reason to be like, this guy in particular.
Yeah, I don't know.
As he makes his way a bit drunkenly up the stairs, and Nyx, you hear a knock at your door.
I think at first you'd be a little worried that's one of the group trying to talk to Russ.
Yeah. Russ sort of like tenses on the bed. Kel, have you been staying in there with them, or did you go out? You vibing?
He was gonna vibe till they were settled in and then head back downstairs.
Okay. So do you think you would be there during this moment or not? That's my question.
Probably not.
Okay.
Kicked him out right after the handkerchief. You can go.
You can go now.
But you hear a knock at the door, Nyx.
I got it. If it's one, I'll tell them to go. It's fine. But she'll open it so that it's just like the little sliver to make sure first.
Yeah, you open it ever so slightly. And there is a young man at the door, hood up. You can see just like a bit of his like long brown curly hair and just sort of like a baby face and a little bit of a smile, sort of like leaning against like the door frame right where the crack in the door is. Hey.
Is this my best friend Tag?
You kind of like lean it. Yeah, it's Tag.
Oh, okay. Feels really fast. We'll let him in. It's just Tag. It's not that we're good.
All right. Tag and I have talked.
Mm-hmm.
We certainly have, haven't we? You called?
Yes. So the information we have about her. Not much. I don't speak the same language as her. When, she's not around other people speaking common. So I couldn't get much from when she was at home. Other than she wears matching pajamas. That's important. It seems like she would really prefer if this war doesn't end, doesn't really expect her boss to ever sign a peace treaty ever. I don't know if you guys heard the Lady Lord did try to stab the other one, Bela.
Yeah, we heard about the kerfuffle. Yeah.
General Talon's okay. I did help her get up. She's good. She's going back down there. Doesn't seem like she's ever going to stop helping that. Seems like she's trying to end this war, though. Like stars.
Interesting. Riveting. Not exactly helping me in this moment. I'm not exactly like the arbiter of what is, good info, but I'm pretty close to the person who is, and it's a bit lackluster for my needs.
Trying to think if there's anything else I might have seen, because she was not around Talaran much.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's all I've got from what I've seen.
Well, then I suppose you're going to have to keep working on it or pay 4,000 gold?
Yeah, we were thinking of maybe trying something else. Maybe there's someone else that doesn't speak a language I don't understand.
Just so we're on the same page, you would like to change the parameters of your second deal.
I still want to I want to pay this back just in a way that I can. Because I don't know if I'm going to be able to get what you're looking for. Unless you want me to go and learn this language, which could take a while.
Understandable. It would have been nice. I don't want to judge your work ethic. Do you think you put your all into this? I'm just asking. This does not really affect.
I might have been able to scry a bit more.
How many times did you scry?
I don't think she remembers that it was only the one.
I don't know.
She's failed so many times. Might have just been once. But the timing, she was either down there or was at this party where I was at. Like the time when we were separate.
In the in-between. Maybe right after the party, like immediately after.
Like right this second? Because it did just end.
I suppose if you're so inclined, but I would be willing to discuss different parameters.
I think that'd be best.
If you are not willing to divulge or continue to acquire information on General, then you are not willing to acquire information on the Chief. I'm sort of running out of, once again, I'm just the middleman. Don't shoot the messenger and all that. It feels like we're aggressively traveling towards that 4,000. I'm just going to put that on the table casually. The 4,000 is kind of approaching rapidly, especially with the amount of time that has passed from you originally getting your first deal. But before that, I will turn things to you. You know interesting people. Interesting people who caused a bit of a hullabaloo at the party tonight.
I do? Which one? I'm not sure what you guys consider interesting people, to be honest.
That's actually fair. Most of the people at this event, at least somewhat interesting. The thing is, I would find you a bit passive-aggressive, but I know you're not, so I am calm and collected in this moment. Your companions that you traveled here with, challenging such a big, well-known contributor to Skull City, is there a valuable piece of information regarding them that you think would be fair trade? And it has to be more than they enjoy the stars and wear matching pajamas at night.
Clarify. Is he asking about Russ's team in front of Russ? right?
No, he's
Okay,
asking about your team.
Okay. Well, I said who we traveled here with, and it was both. So.
Yeah, he is most certainly not talking about Russ's team.
Just making sure.
Yeah, this guy's not stupid. Not yet.
I don't really have anything about that. I would rather go back to the other two people.
So 4,000 gold before you leave the town, yes? This is as much slack as I can give. And you've already told me why you are not a good fit for the other two people. You have spoken poorly of yourself to accomplish those tasks, and I will take your word on your resume for that. So, either you can tell me about these individuals, and it seems something's coming to mind. But if not, I am forced to step into the money department, which I personally prefer stories, but it's not my say.
I don't actually have anything in mind specific to share about them.
Anything they would not want shared is sadly where we are with that. Or you have until you leave town to acquire 4,000 gold. It shouldn't be too difficult for what adventurers have acquired over time.
No.
Is this still
Okay.
happening through a crack in the door, or did they let him?
No, I
he's
let him
in the
in. I let
room.
him in the room.
Hey,
I just shut it slowly.
Don't be a secret.
So my issue currently is I know too many secrets as a person, and I'm not sure which ones Nyx knows.
Yeah, I mean, you could present it to me, and I could tell you if I think you also know it. Because Nyx knows a fair bit.
She does. So I have
You, Katie, just happen to know more
nuanced,
I
know way
detailed
too many
versions.
things.
So you know, like, the nuance and details. Nyx knows the broad strokes at minimum.
Is there like a specific one of them that I could maybe narrow this down a little easier?
I would hate to limit you at this time.
I mean, do you know about Roshan has tattoos that some lady wants to eat him because of?
Do you know the name of the lady?
Oh, Jinli. She wanted to kill us earlier today.
Oh. Yeah, we don't fuck with that. There's a certain amount of crazy where we just stop entirely, and there was a time where we were, keeping tabs, and then we were like, no thank you. So sorry for your friend. Jinli's a monster person.
Yes. So that doesn't work as a secret for you then.
I'm sorry.
Do you...
Laws broken. See, the thing is...
Laws broken.
We deal mostly in advising people in leadership roles and blackmail, if that helps you. Or, once again, 4,000 gold.
Don't have the way to do that one before tomorrow. So,
you're leaving tomorrow.
Right.
There will be repercussions if we do not come to an understanding before then.
Like, we're coming back, but that's why I wanted to make sure we did something today.
If we cannot come to an understanding, we will have to take precautions.
Right.
And I would require some of your blood. To be very frank, for tracking purposes, if you were to just cease communication.
That would make it a lot easier to find people.
Yeah. I mean, we do have to pay the magic users to make the blood thing happen. It's a whole ordeal. I'd love to settle this cleanly.
Right. They've told us about meeting Loki, supposedly, and one of them stole his leg, like his actual leg.
That's interesting.
And was carrying it around like a trophy.
That's fun.
It was the first story they told us.
To be fair, it wasn't his actual leg. It was a replacement for his actual leg.
It was his leg.
Prosthetic.
Yeah, sorry. These two believed there was a full leg involved.
I was shown a leg.
Tag is nodding.
And supposedly
you're
they
telling
fought him
me
as a dragon?
Oh, I heard about the dragon attack. So you're telling me these very cool and interesting stories.
But that doesn't count as a blackmail because the leg isn't illegal to steal?
Well, none of us are directly working with the presumed dead god Loki to use that information,
Right.
Russ is like drumming his fingers on the headboard, like trying to be the chillest man he can be.
Try to think of secrets. And I think they said it earlier in front of everybody that they did the illegal thing of going up on that mountain.
So all of them were on the mountain.
I think all three of them were on the mountain. I don't know if all of their earlier group was, because I haven't really talked to them, but all three of them were on the mountain.
Can you tell me anything else about these activities? Anything else? Because it's true. It was proclaimed that people were on the mountain, which is illegal, but it's not illegal in the East. It's also not our territory, so we can't say much. Any other activities of the illegal variety?
I mean, in that vein, I'm assuming this ritual's probably along the lines of what they'd be looking for.
You could assume that, the ritual could be illegal. Traveling with Ave's body was illegal. It was a lot of illegal moves in the West.
That's true. Well, she's had a day with them. Yeah. Russ already knows. They supposedly, from what I know, might be the reason corruption got worse. It is worse over here, and it's better over there. I'm kind of mad about it.
Nix, do you know why?
Some kind of ritual? They haven't told us the full story of what happened.
Nix, I would love to propose a new bargain for you, if 4,000 is too steep at this time.
Listening.
If you can tell me about this ritual, where it happened, what it was, and get that information to me, our deal is done.
Now, does that still have to be before I leave town?
I'd be willing to consider after, but I would request your blood if it is after. So if you think it's going to be after, I should take that now. If that's all right with the gentleman. And he kind of glances over at Russ, who is just just fingers aggressively hitting this headboard. Doesn't say much.
We're having a conversation tomorrow before we leave anyway. I will put this in the window tomorrow after that.
May I have a piece of hair then?
Sure. I would like it back.
I will give it back if we meet again.
Correct.
Perfect. So this will only be used if you do not communicate with me again, just so we can try and get in contact.
That works.
Also, I'd love this, as per usual, to stay between us. And the gentleman.
Right.
I appreciate it. People should know what's going on. People are in danger and it shouldn't be a secret. My 2 cents.
At this point, I definitely agree.
And probably some literal sense, eventually. But I digress. I will be expecting your call tomorrow. Good night, Nix.
And that would be during the day, because we're leaving as soon as possible.
Understood.
Okay.
And he will give you just a polite bow, and he will walk out of the room, immediately go back into persona drunk man, and make his way down. He gets a drink in the crowd, waits a few minutes, and eventually slips out. Probably fully unnoticed. I was like, if this man rolls a 1, I can have us all guffaw as he stumbles out of the place, but he's pretty good about it. Russ sort of like relaxes. See, listen, if I was able to get like 4,000 before we left, that's sort of the issue.
Yeah,
is
that was a
the
lot.
timeline. The timeline is the issue with the money for me.
That's fine.
I also don't see an issue with giving people that information. So, you won't hear any griping from me.
Yep, can't say I'm a fan of what it's caused.
Me neither.
Could you help me get out of that?
I feel terrible. Sits up and begins to like help you get out of your giant dress. Do you two plan on trying to sleep at this point?
I think I should probably sit there, like, just telling him stories that he's already heard to help, like, distract, play with the hair type of thing, and eventually fall asleep when she knows he's sleeping.
Okay. He's going to roll Constitution to see if he can outwit his body and go to sleep. He'll roll with advantage because you're being very nice. Okay. Eventually, Russ falls asleep. And you're able to follow suit. Keld, you go downstairs. It's basically like you can acquire a drink, and it's like, there is. And 3, now more in like the tipsy category, the ladies are like, woo, as they enter the space, loud and boisterous. Last night or something. A bash, a bop. I'm not good at like being like, so sorry for what happened.
Oh. That's okay. I'm still figuring out what happened. How was the rest of the party?
I couldn't tell you.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure there was like another stabbing. but I only really got the tail end of it, and I was not close to it. So the details are slim for me, but it looked like there was another stabbing, and everyone seemed okay with it, which is weird.
It is weird. Huh.
Yeah.
Any idea who?
Can either Ben or Nana hear this over the crowd?
No way.
Got it.
You heard Thor come in, but like
Got
at
it.
talking level, her voice carries, but not in a loud tavern in perfect detail. I'm not sure. I was trying to stay out of as much drama as I could. I don't think anybody died, so.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Maybe.
Yeah.
Didn't Keld see General Talarin?
Yeah, she knew she wasn't dead.
I
Keld was
healed
not
her.
there for the stabbing.
That's true. That is true. The healing would. Never mind.
Like
I
he
saw the
may have.
after.
Yeah, you're like, hey. She kind of looks at you. You want to go upstairs, or do you want to hang out down here?
Let's go upstairs.
Yeah, okay.
Been a long.
Yeah. I was really hoping you didn't say down here because I'm so tired. And Thor's gonna make her way upstairs with you. Is there anything you wanted to talk to Thor about at this time, or are you just like, a hurrah?
I think he probably just wanted to like also give his farewells because it's probably safe to assume she's not coming to the woods with us and stuff. So
Yeah.
he'll just let him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh,
probably
go ahead.
just make sure that they're on the same page.
It's not you. And I know that sounds cliche, but it's not. We've decided that currently help you with the guard. We're still on board for that.
That's
but
great.
but going on a vacation to your home, which sounds, once again, that in itself doesn't sound bad. There was four of us.
I see.
I make it sound like she's dead, but yeah, she made it out with us. But while we were in there, we learned a lot about each other, some true, some not, and she left.
Mm,
And it's my fault. And I need to do something about that first.
I understand.
Yeah. She would have hated this fucking party.
Well, good
So,
thing she missed it
yeah.
then.
Yeah. For the best. With that dueling arena, who knows? I really fucked up.
Mm.
But yeah, I just feel like I should work on that first. And then we'll kill your boogeyman or whatever. And honestly, that's the thing. We killed our boogeyman. We want to be done. We're tired as fuck. And
You
if I
deserve
was
some
like,
rest.
yeah, I agree. And if this was a me and you thing, a long-term thing, you're leaving tomorrow. You're running off to take care of your boogeyman. And I would never stop you. But I can't, you know. Maybe when you retire.
Maybe
You know?
so.
Yeah. 'Cause yeah, you get it. So you can hit me up then, or if after I stomp on the head of your boogeyman or whatever. If you're done, we can talk about it then.
All right. We'll see where we're at.
Yeah, listen. Clean break. We'll circle back around if we wanna. Do you want to make out what's like clean break tomorrow, right?
Right. No,
Yeah.
it's not tomorrow yet.
No. Well,
Is it?
I'm not here. No, I'm not here about the semantics of time. We're not getting into that. Was there anything else
Touchy
held?
subject.
I don't want to talk about time, please. Keld, is that all for you for the night?
Yep.
All right. Keld has probably the best ending of the night. Good for him. Keld honestly got through this sort of middle of the road. Good for you, Keld.
We're doing okay.
Keld's like, I did hallucinate my entire life and found out that somebody is keeping a secret from me, but I'm
momentarily
okay.
Forgot about that.
I forgot about it at this time, and that's for later, Keld, to worry about. Roshan, is there anything else after you go on your flight?
I think Roshan turns back into person Roshan, standing in the hotel room with a pile of sticks underneath the window, and it's like, wow.
What am I doing?
Clever.
Awesome.
I went on a bird
And and then I think he just tries to settle in for the night and get some rest, but is probably too restless to find real rest. I think after the bar heads to sleep, I think he gets anxious enough that he would try to check in on Russ just to make sure he's breathing.
How are you checking in on Russ?
So he would. I think they're probably in adjacent rooms. So once it quiets down, he'll put an ear on the wall, and I don't know if he can hear anything through that. So I think he goes to the door, or outside into the hallway to the door, and puts an ear against it. And do you want me to roll? Is he snoring? Is he dead?
Give me a roll. Give me a
roll. That's a natural one. So he doesn't hear anything, and he's like, shit, he could be dead in there. I just need to... And he's gonna try and quietly open the door and look in and see if Russ's chest is rising and falling.
So Nix, I don't think you're the lock in the door type. Is that true?
No.
Yeah.
Not with where she grew up, no.
All right, give me a stealth check if you'd be so kind, Roshan.
Let's hope not another nat one. Okay. 17, I think. Yeah.
Okay. We're not using our passive perceptions because we are fully unconscious. So with a 17, you were able to open the door and you can see them. You have to stand there for a moment, kind of focus your eyes. Yeah, that man looks like he's breathing.
Good. And then Roshan will swiftly and quietly close the door and
bang.
Slam it and figure worry about something else for the rest of the evening.
Okay. You go to worry, and by the amount of worrying you're doing, are you getting a long rest out of this, you think?
No, I don't. I think Roshan cannot stop thinking about A, getting to the forest, and B, getting his sister back.
Okay. So when you wake up, you will take a level of exhaustion, don't regain anything, blah, blah, blah. You know how it works. You know how all that be doing. And finally, Fen and Nana, is there anything before bed?
How's Nana doing?
Terrific. But I think that she's taken this time to catch Fen up on what's been happening between Roshan and Nyx, so that she can make good on her promise and bring him up to speed, so it won't hit him out of nowhere tomorrow when she has to confess to everything to these two.
Okay. Fen's in the loop.
Cool. Awesome timing. Fen was
Yeah.
emotionally ready for this.
Sorry. She promised him that she would catch him up when they got done with the party. Now I will say, I think she would have asked him if he wanted to hear it tonight or if he wanted to hear it first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and Fen would have absolutely wanted to hear it tonight.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Fen is in the loop.
Okay.
There you go. It has occurred.
So, then I challenged Russ's boss to a duel to the death tonight.
Had you not done that, I would have done it myself. And there's no telling how any of that might have played out. I don't want to fight Russ. I don't.
Either.
I can only imagine. I don't want to fight Russ. He's been nothing but a friend. He's been among the purest people we've ever met. I
All
don't.
of which he's Nyx's husband and all of this now. And
Do you think Nyx and Keld will live?
us?
Being good friends. We've been through so much together in such a short time.
I don't know. Keld seems fine. Keld seems.
Keld will go with his sister, no matter what.
Yeah.
And as he should.
Yeah. And I'd
Me too.
hardly want to tether Nyx to people who hurt her.
Fen motions for another beer for Nana.
Yeah.
He'll get one for himself as well, but yeah.
Yeah.
No, we need to make good on our promise to Nyx to help her. I thought to seek out the matriarch, the matron, and she was not of any use.
She was as
when she
nature is.
fell into all that.
Enigmatic.
Healing comes from nature. I thought that nature, despite its indifference, might provide healing, and because that's where you go for healing. It
wasn't a bad thought. It wasn't a bad thought. And she wasn't opposed to it either. Was she, the matron?
Had we have spent time to seek her out, it would have been a lame fuck around. It's good that she was there, and then we know she couldn't help. We need to help Nyx. Whatever we do. I'm relieved to get Rose back. I'm glad Roshan will have his sister back. We've sought after that for so long. I don't blame him.
Couldn't.
How can one place the proper emphasis on what they hope to achieve? We've known Nyx and Keld for many months, and we have an opportunity to reunite with Rose, who We've known you and I for years, and it's Roshan's sister. We don't know what peril she has been in. Roshan couldn't contact her. I don't blame Roshan. It's not his fault. We will work tirelessly until we restore Nyx. Or we'll fail and we'll lose her. And we've all dealt with loss before.
I don't think Nana handles that well. I
And
think that she tips right over and starts crying again.
And I think Fen is like on the verge of tears. He's not crying, but things are settling in for him about how we've just spent at least a couple of weeks fucking around with a party. Like, we spent enormous capital, and it's setting in how much it feels in this moment like we didn't gain anything. And then, no, we should go to bed. We need to make camp. We need to go to bed. We need to approach this tomorrow with our failings behind us and our victories in our pocket, whatever victories they might be. I don't think there's anything else we can accomplish tonight. I feel
useless
terrible.
from here. Yeah.
I can only imagine how you feel. You did the right thing. Had it not been you, it would have been me. Had it not been you, and it had been me, perhaps Russ might have not dueled for trophy that he didn't take.
I'd hate to have made him make that choice.
Or
He likes
worse,
you a lot more than he likes me.
I'm not sure that's true. I'm not sure that's possible.
Let's go
we
to
should
bed.
we should revisit this when we can, and
Yeah. I'm gonna tell him everything tomorrow.
I think we need to, when we're safe and
We
sound.
gotta get everybody on the same page. Fen, this has all been one big comedy of errors. We've been passing around each other. We've been flying past each other, 2 ships in the night, constantly. For 3 days and then weeks before that, and look what it's got us.
We're hardly better off than we were before. Debatably, we're worse.
Tomorrow I'm gonna ask Nyx and Russ and Keld if they want to hear the whole story, everything, just so they know everything we know. It's what they were owed anyway, apparently. And
It is.
I owe them all an awful lot, and I'm keen to start making payments towards it.
We've got a lot of work to do. That's not an overstatement to say that. I agree. I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said. And now I hope you agree when I say it's time for you to sleep.
Only one thing I'm gonna do before I do. Well, 2 things. The good berries, of course.
Just save it, Nora. Just get your rest. The good berries can wait. We're not going to be hungry in the morning.
I'll spend a spell slot in the morning in hell, Fen.
Yeah, but what if you cast it wrong? They taste bad.
They don't taste great anyway. They taste like salty, shriveled up berries.
That's true.
They can't be worse than that. Come on. I think the only other thing Nana will do before she turns in is put a casting of Zone of Truth into the Ring of Spell Storing.
Okay.
Fenn's, as they're still sitting at the booth, Fenn's just fiddling with his armor, and one of the pearls comes off in his hand as he fiddles with it, and he just kind of flicks it across the table. It bounces onto the floor somewhere to be trampled under some stranger's foot. All right, let's go to bed.
You.
All right. You two head off to bed. I think you still get to keep Fireball as well. So if things go poorly, you can Fireball the situation.
Hooray! A fireball solves everything.
You put Zone of Truth into the ring. You both go up to your room to rest. Is there anything else from anyone before the sun set even more? You know, what's the sun doing when you can't see it? Don't ask. It's none of your business.
I think Roshan is ready to leave as soon as like the 8 hours hits. He's like got his bags packed by his door and just sitting at his desk waiting for everyone to wake up.
Okay. You all lay down to rest.
Fenn has very much never unpacked anything since I've been there. Like very like meticulously, like essential items are set out. But yeah, Fenn's 4 hours rest. He's probably ready to go at the same time. So if Roshan knocked on their door, Fenn's like standing there, like maybe it only needs a
Immediate
few
door
more.
open.
Maybe it only needs a few more hours, but let's go have a cup of tea.
I think the funny thing is Nana really tries hard. I don't know if she succeeds, but Nana really tries hard to actually be like up as early as she can manage. She wants to write a quick note on a parchment, run down to the kitchen, the bar, get 2 plates of good breakfast on a tray, and take it up and pop it in front of Nix and Russ's door. Slide the parchment under the door, knock, and try to sneak away as quickly and quietly as possible.
There's no doubt in my mind that either of them are going to move quick enough to, even if you slowly army crawled your way back to your room, I don't think anybody is getting there in time.
Cool.
But on that note, you guys are eager beavers. You've had a long rest. You accomplish a long rest, except for Roshan. That is acquired. All of this is probably happening in the 10 a.m. area, which, for kindness, everybody falls asleep vaguely within an hour of each other, vaguely. But yeah, there's a piece of paper, Nix, that is shoved under the door. You guys are like waking up. You're not like unconscious when this happens.
Right.
But just like a knock and like a piece of paper just woof, like right under the doorway.
I guess I'll go get it.
Nix, you start to push yourself up, and it's just the aches of the morning. And your arm is stiff and sore. And you look down at it, and some of the ice has now trickled onto your fingertips. Some of them, the fine motor skills of your hand seem to be heavily altered. That includes your wrist and your elbow, which has only become more tight as the night passed. You can see that the ice has migrated further onto your fingers. And I think just a reflex as you kind of are waking up and trying to like, blink the sleep from your eyes. You reach up and like touch your face to like wipe your eyes, and the ice has begun to migrate over your eye. There's now a permanent sort of blur when you look to the side for that eye. There's also a bit of a muffle to your ear. you are going to be heavily impeded when it comes to some strength checks, dexterity checks, and perception checks.
Sweet. Think she
But there's a
starts
piece
to
of paper.
panics for a hot second. So, push that down to go get this weird piece of paper. And 10, it's fine.
What does the paper say?
Paper says, sorry for all the trouble. Breakfast in bed. Nana. And there's the smell of breakfast coming from under the door.
I'll go get this breakfast for us.
All right. You get the breakfast a bit, like you're able to kind of like, you can grip with your other hand. You kind of have to like flat palm the other side for ease because you can't really fully contract your hand all the way. It's like one of your fingers are like, okay, but the rest, no cigar. It's kind of like, yeah, like the side of your hand is a little freer, but
So
near
you do the
thumb,
thing where I
useful
hold my
part.
arm up and just kind of have it there across the whole arm.
Yeah, you just use the whole arm, which is now just like a table in and of itself. That's the amount of use you got of it right now.
Good.
Russ wakes up and you can see the look on his face. It is a mix of fear and anger near immediately.
Set the breakfast down and eat because
he kind of takes you will take your lead on this, and he just pushes that down. And we'll also eat. Who is gathering the team? Who is spearheading the we're all gonna sit in a room together conversation? Nana, are you like, take as long as you want with raising your hand.
I think it's probably a combo of her and Nyx is doing this because she has to. For this information.
Yeah.
Keld would want to, but he is just not on that timeline. He hasn't got any of his shit together, so he's
That's
probably
fair.
running around.
That's
Ben's
all right.
ready to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
You had 4 hours to do that.
It wasn't this time, Nyx. I'm not a monster. I am implying that at some point, the goal is that all of you are in a room together. And I'm implying that we go immediately to that moment. Unless somebody's like, haha, and just full speed runs away. I can't stop you from doing that.
Yeah.
But I assume everyone of whatever accord within the next couple hours are hoarded into a space together. What are we doing?
I think the very first thing Nana does is take a look around with the Lantern of Revealing before anything is said to anyone about anything, just to make sure there is no one spying on us.
Give me a perception check.
I will give you a perception check. Yeah. Boy, these Nana dice love a story. Well, I mean, with my plus 12 perception, it's a 17.
Nothing catches your eye.
Right. So, there's been an awful lot that we have not had what we thought was cause to speak to all of you about up till now, and obviously that was a catastrophic miscalculation. And the lot of you deserve the whole truth of our party's actions and why everything is the way that it is. And I want to make sure that you can trust that what we have to tell you is true. So, Nana will offer the ring to Russ. Or to Nyx. I'm assuming they're sitting together.
Russ is currently like sitting in a chair, kind of as far as he can be away from this, and is just like uncomfortably like tapping his fingers on his knee.
Then in that case, I'm guessing towards Nyx. Or,
I'll
Nana
take
will
it.
offer the ring. There's a casting of Zone of Truth in there. And the reason for that is because I would like for you to please use it on me. I will allow you to ask me anything you want, and I will tell you everything to my best knowledge, to the closest iota of the truth I have. It's the least I owe you, it's the least I can do.
I want to hear the full story. You're going there. I know a little bit from Roshan. Coming back, what you guys did that's made this happen here.
Mm-hmm. I believe fully Nana gives as detailed an account as she is able to.
Here's my question though: Is Nyx, are you deploying Zone of Truth?
Oh yeah, why not? I was told to do it.
Everybody make a wisdom saving throw. You may choose to fail.
Nana fail. Nana
Yeah.
chooses to fail, she will not contest.
Nyx, you can tell if people succeed or fail.
Defend opts to fail.
Okay.
Keld, are you allowing yourself to fail? Okay. Roshan, are you allowing yourself? Okay. Nyx, are you allowing yourself to fail?
Yeah, why not? We're sharing.
Okay. It's true. Russ succeeds.
Cool.
Only Nyx knows that currently.
That's fine.
And
So
you give as detailed of a description of what happened from going to the mountain, what happened on the mountain in detail.
Yeah.
And like no holds barred. There is nothing you are keeping, because this will not keep you from lies of omission.
No, but I am choosing to give everything and every detail that I think is pertinent. She cracks a little bit describing how Sindri laughed as he was cleaning Ave's blood off of Gungnir, and she's not looking at Russ. But she gives details. Every detail she's able. She tells about Ave's will, and she will choose to show Ave's will to Nyx and Russ and Keld so they can see it and see what Ave asked of us. She'll make specific mention of the chief's spear, the chief's crest being missing from Ave's body, having seen one of Sindri's people take it. She will tell them about the Temple of Odin, the vines, the ghosts, the travel back, taking Ave, protecting his body the whole way. Dagwood, meeting with her, the ritual to preserve Ave's body, making our way back, encountering Bosch, leaving him to the local authorities, him surviving, us returning home, Hertha screaming, the corruption, the ritual, how we finished it. Every detail Nana can provide reliably, she will. And I do not know if that ritual was done the way it should have been done. Ave didn't tell us anything about it before.
But it's done.
I don't know, so far as we know, if his chief's crest was needed for some aspect of it. It was missing. So, I don't know.
Fen would verify what Nana has said. He would mention going to the Woods Witch to save Nana, or to help clear up the
Something.
that Nana had,
Mhm.
and just because of the mention of lamps, he would mention that there were rumors of lamps leading there, lanterns, and that we found a pile of broken ones, and see if those tied together somehow, or like at least like mention that to people that
If it could
that
be a tie.
yeah, that was things are clicking. It like not clicking in Fenn's brain. He doesn't have this figured out, but like little flickers of remembrance are going off. Trying to think of any more details to fill in that Fen would freely volunteer, but I think we're there as he fiddles with his pearls.
Roshan, is there anything you want to add or give more detail on?
I think
Like, is there
Nyx is
anything you
staring
want to
him
hit?
down to see if he says
Yeah.
anything.
Roshan doesn't add any details and actively avoids Nyx's gaze.
So you're not going to mention, Roshan, that he said goodbye to you the night before?
The only one.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, she says that.
Yeah. Yeah, he said that. What else do you want?
You all probably saw different things.
I don't know what else to share. If there's something I can clarify, let me know, but I think Nana got it.
Fen will very specifically look at Russ. Those that fell on that in the valley fell in combat. As far as he knows, everybody did. He has no idea about the one guy getting
About
pushed into the fire.
Drippa.
Like, yeah. But Fen is saying this because Fen wandered off to go try to find. Yeah.
And Nana was busy mourning Ave. I don't think she was cognizant of that.
Yeah, you can see that Russ's jaw is set tight. There was a kind of a part during this where it's like he went from trying to portray like I'm anxious to like this man is upset. And he turns his focus to Roshan. Is that true? That they all fell in combat?
No, Drepa survived long enough to give us a little information, and Sindri escaped with the witch.
All right. If you have questions for me, by all means.
I think Roshan will look at him, open his mouth like he's going to ask something, and then just not.
Do you know what he is?
He leans forward. I advise being very careful about your next word. He is a man who saved me and cared for me. He is a man who is helping people of the continent. And I am sorry for your brother. I am sorry for your loss. I understand loss. Who doesn't? But everything you've told me about your man and Dagwood, a horrible spellcasting witch, killed her chief. That's who you're getting your advice from?
That's not true.
No.
She may be a horrible spellcasting witch, but she didn't kill the chief of that town.
She definitely did not. No, he was.
Were you there when he died? Oh.
We knew
Couldn't
of
possibly be magically induced.
We knew of his illness. He literally accosted us in the street. He was a sick old man.
And I'm telling you that it could be magical interference.
Everything
and I will leave mine to speculation then.
Okay, Russ.
That's what the people say.
What's not speculation is that you, on speculation, dragged her across the continents.
Look what she fucking did, Angel. And
What?
he pulls himself
What can
down.
you prove that she did?
You just told me the spells that she cast on your man's body, you burned it.
And
cast
you
a
knew
ritual,
none of that.
People are dying. I knew that I was taking a spellcaster who was ruining the continent, and I feel no remorse for that, Angel.
Fine, you're right. Maybe she was. I am glad you don't feel any remorse. Now, what else do you want from us? An
Russ.
apology?
I haven't asked for a single fucking thing.
Helping any of us, okay? All right, okay. We're all angry, we're all mad, we're all figuring this out. All at the same time, can we please stop? For 1 second, please.
Russ, I have no love lost for that woman. I haven't seen eye to eye with her on nary a thing. What she did was cast magic onto Ave's body so that he needn't be wrapped in a tarp, covered in salt and frozen, while his sister hauled his body half a continent away. She helped.
And you can say that, Fen, without a shadow of a doubt. A ritual that you left his corpse with her. You don't know what it was, and you had to take her at her word.
I take her at her word. You may have had more time with her as you absconded with her, but I know for a fact that I saw your man stab my best friend's brother through the heart with the stolen spear of a god, the All-Father. I know for certain that that is what I saw. And a man carrying the spear of the All-Father drive it through the belly of an unarmed man again and again until he wouldn't rise.
If what Sindri said is true, if there was an oath sworn on Gungnir, he would have had to do it. You cannot break an oath sworn on the spear. If your man approached him and said, "You have to kill me," and made other speculation, while they both touched the spear, there's nothing he could have done about it. And the thing is, I'm not doubting that he killed him. I will not, and you know what? This is my fault. I will nary speak ill of your man again. And you will not speak ill of mine in front of me.
I'm not going to speak ill of him anymore, Russ. I hope to never speak of him again. Russ, you've been one of the kindest people, one of the truest friends we have ever met. I don't want to speak ill of your man. I want him to face the same ignominious, fiery fate that Ove faced. I love Nyx. I love Keld. I love you. You have been a true friend. You pulled me out of the belly of a God's forsaken corrupted worm. You've been fun. You've been a lark. You've been loyal. You've been true. Your man murdered someone who mattered dearly to me and to friends of mine. And I know what you feel as loyalty. You can understand as truly. It can be felt as vengeance the other way. Not vengeance, retribution, comeuppance, justice. If your man did what he did for the sake of the continent, for the land, sometimes that comes at a price, and that's sacrifice. If he did it for the good of the land, then maybe his life is sacrificed. If his life is not worth the land, then he won't sacrifice himself. He killed a friend of ours, someone who mattered dearly, who made peace, who's probably saved more lives than anyone I can imagine, by just his brokerage of peace. I hope you understand where I come from, and that it is not ill will directed at you.
No, no. If you plan to lay any form of hand upon the kiln, you are no friend of mine. And
But
he
we
stands
are.
up.
But we are friends.
Thank you for telling me your story, Nana. I appreciate it. I'm sure it was difficult, and I apologize for my outburst. I will not let you hurt Sindri. And he's going to go to the door.
Thing I want you to know. Ave has a son. And he will grow up without his father. And I'm not saying this to threaten you. He's my nephew, and he's an infant. And I would not want to lie to him. But I neither would want to drive any wedge between us. He's an infant, so if you want some time to decide how you would like for me to speak to my nephew about his father, such that I do not cause you further grief, then please take your time and consider it, and I will do my best. But I'd really like to understand why it all happened. I'd really like to understand.
Sadly, you are asking the wrong man. The man with the information. You attacked near on sight. To the death. No words. He could have answered your questions, and I fully believe in my heart he would have. And it may not have changed your opinion in the slightest, and that's fine. But I stand with him, and I will continue to do so. I am sorry that your nephew will have no father to turn to, and I am sorry for the deaths that are now occurring as the forest slowly encroaches upon the continent. I have to do what is best for the continent, save as many lives as possible.
That's all we wanted to do, Russ. Please, if you believe me about nothing else, please. All we wanted was to protect people. And for all the doubts I've had about my brother since his death, I can't believe in my heart he didn't want the best for everyone. I can't believe he was just ambitious for ambition's sake. He never walked that way. He was my kiln. So I know they were aware of each other. I know Ave considered the kiln dangerous. What does that mean? I don't know. He never told me anything, so I don't know what I can make of it. But please, believe me, Russ, I cannot believe there was any intention in this ritual but to try and preserve life, to try and keep people safe, to try and keep the corruption from taking everything we had left.
And it failed. Let someone else fix it. Give us information. Let us fix it. You know that it is hurting people. Let us fix it.
Given you everything I have.
Then we're good. And Russ is going to go to the door. And he is going to look at Nyx and kind of affirm with like a look like, I don't expect you to follow me, but you can.
Yeah.
And he will kind of take that moment, and then he will close the door behind him. He will exit the scene. It is just the five of you.
So I'm gonna look at Nyx being the arbiter of truth with the ring and the zone of truth going up. Whatever he feels of that man as an adoptive father, the truth is Ave lies dead, or is burnt now. Having never known his own child, but having been the father of the essential father of many, the father, brother, tutor, mentor, to at least a dozen people.
And I don't mean to interrupt or make lightly of any of this. I know we're discussing loss. But Nana, you just said it. Ave told you nothing. You don't know the truth. I don't know the truth. But I feel like we need to be careful not to be searching, not to be looking for things in the darkness, in the unknown, you know? Because you'll start to see things that aren't even true that you just want to see. You just need to be careful about, the shadows and what shadows you talk to.
We aren't saying that your brother wasn't good. He sounds like he's did amazing things, but this specific thing, maybe he was wrong.
And then it's my mess to clean up. I'm his next of kin. I can't leave it for Erling. He's just a kid. I know Russ wants somebody else to fix it. This is my responsibility. My brother set us out on this job and didn't give us information. And because he did not tell us that he would not be getting us back home himself, it was my job to do that. Not sure I ever did a good job, but still my responsibility. It was my job to see it through, and if it failed, then it's my failure, and I must fix it.
You needn't do it alone. Roshan, he was as a father to you. You're quiet. Speak.
If he heard. Or is he just staying silent?
Roshan?
Sorry, did I miss something? My sound cut out,
Yeah, sorry.
Kind of,
and I
yeah,
can't
kind of
hear
pivotal.
anything right now. Bia,
No? Oh no! Well, Roshan may keep his silence for a bit.
There, Roshan.
There.
Very well. Keep your silence.
Keep your secrets. No,
Well, shit.
I don't know what can be done to fix all this. I'm not sure. I want to. That's why I can't leave any shadows alone, Calb. Because there could be a solution if I can just find the right one.
Yeah, I can understand. Maybe we can help illuminate some things.
You know, I agree we needed to come together and have this conversation. We have to set priorities. And right now, that priority need be find a cure for Nyx. Can't do anything else completely until that's accomplished.
Right. So,
Yes. Time is more and more of the essence.
what are our plans to get you well next?
I have a couple more things to do before we can go, but we're heading to our home. I should have something from Sindri to hopefully use.
That's right.
Should be getting here sometime soon.
Well, while we're all under this spell, Nyx, I'd like you to know that your wellness is my priority. I have to imagine I
It's
speak
okay.
for everyone.
It's okay. Just let it happen, producer.
And I'm
Oh,
sure
no.
we're all shuffled up. What's up?
Mhm.
Yep. Shuffled.
Keep doing y'all's thing.
Yep. We still got audio.
Nyx, your wellness is my priority.
Yeah.
We should make a priority of finding a fix for what afflicts you. You have my bow, as it were, as is written in the stories long past from the ancestors.
Y'all can't make Lord of the Rings canon. Y'all gotta
No.
control yourselves.
Yeah, we already have Goblin Shakespeare. We're pushing it a little bit on the fourth wall here. It'll break before too long.
Hey, Nana, while you're looking into shadows and our producer is screaming internally, I'm going to talk.
Yes.
Um,
Sure. Please.
Give me intelligence with advantage.
Interesting. Damn. With advantage, it is a natural 20.
Okay.
And that was on the Nana dice, too. You want to see?
Nice. Sure.
There she is.
Nana, you have represented information.
Mhm.
You have learned information.
Mm-hmm.
And you are looking into shadows and making speculation.
Mm-hmm.
But all you have is the truth to work with, or the evidence at least that you know.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Ave said goodbye to Roshan the night before.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Ave swallowed a bunch of magical pearls intricately carved with runes before he was felled, that they were
Yeah.
in his body at the time, that he had written a will for himself, that he did place his hand upon Gungnir,
Mm-hmm.
that in his journal he said he knew he would die.
Mm-hmm.
This was planned. And you're running out of places to hide from that.
And the fact that it was only Roshan he said goodbye to, and not her.
And he didn't say goodbye to you.
Well, even while she's processing that, I think while the zone of truth holds, she'll still look over to Nyx and add, anything I can do to aid you, Nyx. Any action, any gift, any ask. Nothing is too small, nothing too large. You have my aid, whatever it needs, whatever it takes, wherever it leads. I swear it.
I appreciate that. I think right now, if you guys could just try to at least be cordial with him. You're not going to be friends.
With Russ, I'm
Yeah.
happy to be. Was there any doubt?
After you were in this, you were here for that.
Can't help who saved him. I can't help who killed my brother. I can't hate him. I don't. I like him. And I like you. So, if you don't mind still being friends, I'd like to be.
Do that. I'm gonna go check on him.
Make sure he's alright.
Give a very quick hug, only to Nana. Not
And then
touching
I'm going to
Roshan.
capture you both in the hug.
No, Kel can also get the hug.
Hugs.
But then she's gonna leave to go talk
Yeah.
to Russ instead.
Yeah, no.
And
of
put a
course.
handkerchief in the window.
Oh no.
Yep.
Yeah. You run to the room. Russ is not there, but you quickly put the handkerchief in the window and you go to find Russ. And, our producer's been working so hard to fix us, but that's where we're stopping for.
Yeah. 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 That's
I
fair.
feel bad about it.
Yeah. But
I feel bad.
sometimes the technology, the magic ritual, she don't go off like you expect.
Listen, as long as the audio worked, but I know he was putting
Yeah.
in the work, but you didn't have to no more. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. If you'd like to get all of that in real time, you can head over to episode 6 and watch it yourself over on youtube.com/the Dice Cult.
Nope.
Where you can watch other D&D campaigns, one-shots, Vampire the Masquerade, whatever you're vibing. If you'd like to keep up with us, we are at Backs of Gods on Instagram and Twitter. If you'd like to keep up with all of us, we are at The Dice Cult on Instagram and Twitter. Once again, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We love telling you guys a story. We'll be here same time, same place, Mondays at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you guys next time. Good night, everybody.
Thanks for joining us, cultists.